In this video, we will showcase the features of the Shuttle application. Once we log in, we are greeted with the dashboard. Here, we can find all the important pieces of information we will need for the current ongoing operations for our shuttles. On the left side, we have the menu. We will utilize it to perform actions related to our business. In the upper left-hand corner, we can see the number of total active drivers. Here, we can see that we have 4 drivers in total, and one of them is active at the moment. We have 2 routes in our business, and the details of the active drivers listed. We can see here that Bus 1 is active, driving on the route called South Hackensack. Below, we can see a map that shows the current ongoing shuttle operations. We can see that the green route is the North Hackensack route, and Bus 1 is currently driving on South Hackensack, the second route. This map shows us that Bus 1 is actively moving towards its destination, which is Destination B. If we want to see only one route, we can select the region in which the route is created, and then select the route we want to see. The system will now show us only the one route selected. The dashboard is the main feature of the Shuttle application. The way the Shuttle app works is that it follows a 3-structured layer hierarchy. Initially, you create a region or regions as per your needs. For example, if your business operates in 2 different cities or 2 different states, you may want to create 2 different regions, each one having their own separate routes and accordingly their own bus stops. However, if you have a small shuttle business, you may want to create just one region and put all the routes inside it. Then each region will create and have its own set of routes, which in their turn will have their own set of bus stops. So the order is from top to bottom on the menu. You will have the regions, they have their routes, and the routes have bus stops. We can create the region using the following steps. First, you will select all regions. At this time, we can see we only have one region called US East Coast that the shuttle business has created. But now they need to add a new region. We can add the region by taking the cursor and pinpointing it to the location we want to create. Let's say the business has been operating in the East Coast, but now they'll be operating on both sides. So we'll be adding a region called West Coast, and they want this region to be in California. Here, I can utilize the radius option, and it will increase or decrease my radius surrounding my region. If let's say they're focusing on Fresno, we can pinpoint it around Fresno and relatively closer areas and adjust the radius feature at the top, thus increasing the radius so that it'll be more inclusive. Then I can name my region US West Coast and save my region. Like this, I can now see that I have 2 regions that are created inside my region list. Next, let's move on to the routes feature of our menu. On the left side, we will click on Routes, and it will show us all the routes we have created. Right now, we have 2 routes, as we saw before, the North Hackensack and the South Hackensack. These routes are both found in the region's US East Coast, and their corresponding latitudes and longitudes are shown here. If there are any changes we need to make to these routes, we can adjust as needed by clicking on the ellipsis and going to Edit. There are several things that we can do once we get to this screen. Here we can see the start of the route and the endpoints. We can see the route itself. We can scroll back up and we can change the name, the route color, or even the bus color. We can also delete the route if needed, or we can go back and apply geofencing abilities to the route. Once we select geofencing, we can plot the points around the route. Whenever a driver goes outside the geofencing area, the system will have notifications sent to the admin. Shown here, we've just created a geofencing feature for our route. The geofencing can be removed by an admin. However, this feature helps the admin be aware of any time a driver may go off route for their own purposes. Another thing we can do with the route is create a new one. Let's say I want to create a route in the region of the West Coast. I can create a new route by following the left-hand menu, select Add Route, and adding my route information. For this instance, I want it to be related to Fresno. I can view on the mapping area, and for this I'm going to select the name Kawa. I can select the route color. This one I'm going to make blue, and the bus color I want to make green. This route will now have a start point of Kawa, and for the end point, I'm going to follow along the path, and I'm going to select Traver. It will now show us on the map below my route. The system will have it drawn out for me, with start point A being Kawa and going all the way to the end point of Traver. I can save the data and it will now show the West Coast region having the Kawa route, our latitudes and longitudes. Now let's assume I want to add a driver to this route. I go to the Route Assign option and assign a route to the driver. It will automatically remove any driver that already has an active route and only show us the drivers available. For this one, I can select a bus for this driver, select my region, and select the route. Right now, whenever the bus driver logs in with his or her phone while driving the bus, it activates the Shuttle app. It will communicate with the server, sending the coordinates of the driver's whereabouts on the assigned route to the system. We can view the logs for this bus driver, as well as delete or edit the route this bus driver will be taking. Most importantly, we can create bus stop points for each route. For example, we can see that the newly created group, Kawa, has no bus stops at the moment. Let's go ahead and add some now. By following actions, we can add a new stop that I'm going to call Fowler. We're going to place our pinpoint for the bus stop and add stop. We can now see the Fowler bus stop was added to the number 1 bus route. At this time, I'm also going to add a couple more bus stops. This one is going to be Selma. We move our pinpoints right above the bus stop name and drop the pin. We can continue adding bus stops at this point, and this one I'm going to add as Kingsburg, doing the same thing, moving our pin right over the top of the location, dropping the pin, and hitting save. We can now see all 3 of my stops on the map. If I go to the dashboard, I can see that I have 3 routes as well on the bigger map. It will show us our regions, our routes, and the locations of my drivers. Bus 1 is currently parking in the East Coast region on Hackensack Street. and my other route is now in Fresno between Kawa and Valor with the 3 stops. To be able to view, edit, create new shuttle drivers that join the business as we go to the Drivers tab on the menu. First, it will show us all drivers. We can see we currently have 4 drivers. We can see their usernames, names, surnames, phone numbers, and their bus status. We already know that bus 1 is running, and the other buses have not yet started. Here in the Action menu, we can print the details of the bus driver and give it to them so they can utilize it to log in and drive. We can also edit the details and delete the driver if we need to. We can also add a new driver here or from the left-hand menu. If we need to create a new driver, we can do so in just a couple of steps. I'll create Test Bus Driver and call him Bus 5 Test Driver. His name is John, surname is Doe, phone number, email is johndoe@test.com. The password is 123johndoe. We attach a form of ID. City will be Fresno. The address is Fresno 1234 Street, California. And we hit Save Data. We can see that Bus Test 5 driver is now in our system, and we can go straight to a route assignment. I can select John Doe and assign him to the Cowell route since this bus has not yet started. The next step for the driver is to log into the application. Whenever the driver is ready to start his or her route and notify the pedestrians of his or her location, the driver will log into the app with the username we have provided. At this point, when the driver logs in, they will press Start Driving to notify the app users, located in the bottom right corner. This will allow the pedestrians to automatically see where the shuttle is as soon as they log into the app based on his or her location. The pedestrian can now see either all the routes or a specific route, such as the North Hackensack, South Hackensack, or the Cowell route. If we select the South Hackensack route, we can see that this bus is currently driving. We can also view the driver's location on the dashboard, giving us the exact location of our driver. The dashboard, driver's app, and user's app all have the ability to see the driver moving and its current location. On the next important feature of our website, we can set up admins and moderators. The admins of the website can create different users with different roles to manage the business. This can be done from the Users tab in the menu on the left side. Here we can see the list of the users the business has. Currently it only has one user, which is the admin. We can either print the details of the admin or edit them, for instance, if we need to change their password. If you want to add a new user, we can do this here. The role feature is very important when it comes to choosing between making them an administrator or a moderator. The difference is the moderator has less features than the administrator in terms of being able to delete regions and such. Entering a new moderator would be the same as entering in a new driver, insert the required pieces of information, and save the data. They can now log into the back-end system and make changes.